unrestricted and unlimited. But in our, no, there are many factors, many impediments. So Bhagavad Gita gives us the solution so that how we can live life to the fullest. And when we leave this life, we know what is our destination. Anyone living his life here, does he know what is his next destination? No, it is uncertain. But Bhagavad Gita gives us this knowledge. You are Gyan Mani? Shyam. Okay, you are Shyam. So that knowledge we can gain from Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so we are discussing the 8th chapter. Bhagavad Gita is presented in 18 chapters. Just here, those who are coming for the first time, kindly hear. I don't know whether have you ever got the opportunity to study Bhagavad Gita before?
Unfortunately, I have perceived it.
Never mind. Never mind. You have Bhagavad Gita with you?
My grandmother used to have, so it's in my house, but I haven't got it.
No, your mobile phone is with you. Your parents have it, your relatives have it, that does not work for you. You keep your mobile phone personally with you? Okay. So similarly, with mobile phone, we can communicate with outside world, so many people. And with Bhagavad Gita, we can communicate with the Supreme Lord. So we should try to keep it as close as possible to us. Because if you have Bhagavad Gita with you, there is possibility there can be communication established. The Bhagavad Gita establishes our lost connection with the Supreme Lord. That is another outstanding feature of Bhagavad Gita. So many merits are there. We will discuss some of it. One section is not possible. So Bhagavad Gita, as I said, because 4 of you are coming new. 1, 2, 3, and you also. 4 of you are coming new. So I am giving you a general understanding, a little bit of general understanding, a little recap, and then we will continue. Yeah. So Krishna gives the Bhagavad Gita for the benefit of everyone. Bhagavad Gita is like sun. You see the sun? The sun, does it discriminate that it is for the benefit of one and not for the other? No, it is for everyone. So the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is for everyone. Bhagavad Gita entails 5 subject matter. The first subject matter I talked about the living entity, the self, who we are, and why in this material world there are situations where we feel we are suffering. Is everyone suffering here or not? Yes. So why do we suffer? And then it gives the understanding about this entire creation, this material manifestation, which is called nature. We are sustained and maintained by nature. So what is this material nature? How it functions? And both the living entity and the material nature, they are all organized and regulated. So who is the organizer and the regulator? That is called the Ishvara. So these are the 3 primary subject matters of Bhagavad Gita. And also the living entity, all of us, when we come in this human form of life, all of us perform action, which is called karma. So what is karma? Karma is classified into 3 sections. What is prescribed karma? What is unauthorized karma? And what is that takes us beyond the both authorized and unauthorized, which takes us to the transcendental platform. That is called akarma. So Bhagavad Gita gives the comprehension about karma. And whatever activity we perform in this material world, it has a jurisdiction. Under whose control we are all functioning? Time. Isn't it? Everyone is subdued by the influence of time. So what is this factor time? So now tell me, does it talk about religion? Bhagavad Gita? Does it talk about sectarism? No, it's not sectarian. It is for everyone. So having spoken about it, Krishna presents Bhagavad Gita so that the living entity in this human form of life can make right decisions, can make informed decisions, decisions that can make them become happy. So not assuming themselves just as body, not assuming themselves just as mind, but it gives the comprehension and understanding to connect ourselves at the level of soul, which is eternal. The body is temporary, and the mind, we all know, is ever changing. So, to the extent we identify and connect to the temporary, we face so many problems. We face so many miseries and challenges. But Bhagavad Gita gives us the knowledge and the realization to uplift and connect to the level of eternity, which is the soul. So, in the 8th chapter, so it is, as I said, it is presented in the 18th chapter. First 6 chapter talk about performing one's prescribed work, which is called duty. Human life is a life of responsibility. In other species of life, those who are not in human species of life, they do not have to abide by the responsibility. You have responsibilities. All of you have responsibility as students. You have set of responsibilities. What is your responsibility? If I may ask you, Deepak. Deepak, what's your responsibility? No, as a student, what is your responsibility? You are studying in IARI. You get scholarship from IARI, isn't it? Do you get scholarship to maintain your family? Huh? Become aware and awake. You're feeling difficulty from there? You want that to be removed? We are a little cramped of space. Previously, we were having the class on the TV room, but that is under repair. The ceiling has broken down. So we are putting here, but we are hoping that it will be repaired soon. If you come little forward, come little forward. You remove your mobile, come forward. So Gita gives us the understanding and the knowledge and the discrimination. Most importantly, it gives us the ability to discriminate what we should do and what we should not do. As this age of Kali progresses, what is the biggest impediment? The biggest impediment is that we are not able to discern or decide that what is right and what is wrong. What is favorable for us and what is unfavorable. We end up doing what is most unfavorable for us. And we reject what is actually beneficial for us. So that decision-making ability, that sense of discrimination, and that sense of discrimination comes from knowledge. A person who is in ignorance cannot take the right decision. So Bhagavad Gita equips us to receive the knowledge through which we can make the right decision. And by deciding what is right and taking the right decisions, what we do, we uplift ourselves. So most important aspect Krishna speaks in the first 6 chapter, he focuses on Arjuna to perform his duty. You know the very famous verse, Karmanye Vadikaraste. So Krishna, in a way, he encourages Arjuna, and through Arjuna, he encourages everyone to perform one's duty. So Bhagavad Gita is another so many myths and misunderstanding people have about Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita never tells anyone to become an escapist. Bhagavad Gita forces one to perform his duty, even if it is difficult, even if it is not liked by the person. But when we say duty, whether you like it or not, one has to perform. So the first 6 chapters talk about performing action and what kind of action one has to perform, which is as per his duties, prescribed. When we say prescribed duty, that means someone superior authorizes, not that we decide what we will perform. So human life, as I said, is a life of responsibility. Responsibility entails that we follow the authority and we perform the prescribed duties. So it uplifts the living entity in his consciousness. Chetana. Chetana ka vikas hota hai. And as the consciousness expands or gets purified, one can see that what is right and what is wrong. Unless and until the consciousness is purified, one cannot decide what is right and what is wrong. Like, I'll give you one small example. When the child is first asked to go to school, does he accept this proposal? He cries bitterly. And he tries also very forcefully not to go. But just because the child is not interested, should the parents agree with him? If the parents agree with him, the child will suffer the entire life. And who will be the cause of his suffering? Those who agree with him. And later, when the child will grow up, he will curse his parents that I was a child, but what about you? You should have taken the right decision. So similarly, because of our attachments and aversions. Okay, please allow madam to come. She is your professor in IERI. Thank you for coming, but she takes a humble position. She sits like a student to study Bhagavad Gita. So it's a source of inspiration for all of us. We are on the 8th chapter. So very important that we receive knowledge. Because if we have knowledge, then we can take right decisions. Krishna gives the higher objective, that is from the 7th chapter till the 12th chapter. So Bhagavad Gita is presented in 3 sections. First 6 chapter talks about performing duty. So performing action, which is as per one's prescribed duty. So duty is liberating. And when we perform duty, we have to give up our attachments and aversions, which is called raga and dvesh. If you see, whatever decisions that we take, the decisions are based on these 2 aspects. We are inclined to do what we like, which gives the reflection of one's attachment. And we want to reject that we dislike. That is called aversion or dvesh. But raga and dvesh, if we take decisions according to raga and dvesh, then we are bound by the reaction of our action. You know, in this material world, every action has a equal and opposite reaction. Only when it is performed on the basis of raga and dvesh. So how to uplift from raga and dvesh? How to become equipoised? Sama. When you are not influenced by rag and dvesh. That means you have to be at least on which consciousness? Duty consciousness. On the desire consciousness, it is not possible. You understand desire consciousness? There are multiple levels of consciousness. The first level of consciousness is the fear consciousness, lower level of consciousness. Why you come to attend classes? Because you are fearful. If you don't get attendance, you will be dropped out from the class. That is not a good way to come to the class. That is not a positive sign of coming. That is fear consciousness. Then higher than fear is desire. So why do you come to attend? Because you have many material aspirations. That if you qualify, then you will have the opportunity to enjoy life. I can make money. I can have honey. And I can enjoy. So that is desire consciousness. But higher than fear and desire is duty consciousness. Like we see our defense forces, or we see farmers, even the farmers. So whether there is heat or whether there is rain, or however difficult the terrain may be, the environment may be, they perform. If you don't go to the field, then what will happen? How we will all survive. So these are communities which are bound by duty. So human consciousness begins at least at the level of duty. Below the level of duty, what kind of consciousness it is? It is subhuman, not human consciousness. That is why it is so difficult nowadays to explain the purpose of life. Because we are at the level of either desire, most of us are at the fear level of desire, or some of us are at the level of fear. So human life begins when at least one recognizes that he must perform his duty, whether it is favorable or it is unfavorable. But even higher than duty is the level of devotion. Dedication and devotion. So that Krishna speaks in the middle 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, from 7 to 12. So those who are devotees of Krishna, they perform not just because of duty, they perform their activities, their functions out of love for Krishna. We have seen the most purest form of love in this world is a love between a mother and her child, where the mother agrees to serve the child unconditionally. When the child is newborn, the child is completely dependent on the uh, assistance of mother. Can the child do anything? Nothing. He is completely helpless. And his dependence is fully on the mother, and the mother is fully conscious of the child. It never happens that the mother sleeps and the child is hungry or he is lying in urine or stool. And the mother takes utmost care. She will not eat. She may not sleep. But her child cannot go empty stomach. But as we see, as the child grows, what happens? The child becomes less dependent on the mother. And that bonding becomes what? Weaker. So similarly, all of us have a bonding with the Supreme Lord. And that bonding is eternal. In this material world, all our bonding is only to the extent our body exists. Before the body existed, did we have any bonding with anyone? No. And as the body will perish, then that bonding will also be over. But the eternal bonding that we have is with the Supreme Lord. And that bonding can be revived when one performs devotion. So Krishna is encouraging all of us to come to the platform first at the platform of duty, and from duty to elevate to the platform of devotion. And when we perform duties at the platform of devotion, then there is detachment. That is another higher platform which Bhagavad Gita teaches. What is the detachment? That we do not consider anything our own. You see, in this material world, everyone is having so much of conflict. What is the core reason of conflict? Because there is one resource and many are claiming to be so. There is no sense of detachment. So detachment comes by knowledge and detachment comes by devotion. So the spirit of detachment and devotion is prescribed in Bhagavad Gita. So in the 8th chapter, Krishna is talking about detachment and devotion. What he is talking about? Detachment from matter, and he's talking about attachment to spirit. Matter is what? It is ever changing, it is temporary. And spirit is eternal, it is everlasting. Okay. So there are many aspects which have been discussed in the 8th chapter. So Arjuna began with 8 questions in the 8th chapter. Anyone remembers the 8th question quickly? Kim tad Brahma? What is Brahma? Kim Adhyatma? Kim Karma Purushottama? So in the way Arjuna is asking question. Bhagavad Gita is very interesting. Bhagavad Gita is a question answer session. Arjuna has spoken 84 verses. And in most of the 84 verses are Arjuna's questions. And Krishna replies to the Arjuna's question. And these questions are very, very practical questions. It relates to all of us at our normal walks of life. And then Arjuna also inquires that at the end of the life, how can one achieve perfection? So Krishna is explaining in this section. First, he explains that what is Brahma. What is Brahma? Who remembers? Yeah. What is Brahma? Kim tad Brahma? Akshara Brahma Paramam. Akshara means which is indestructible. Everything in this material world is destructible, isn't it? Right or wrong? It comes into inception, it stays for some time, yeah, and then it grows or it gives a byproduct, and then it starts to decay or dwindle, and finally it perishes. This is the cycle of everyone and everything in this material world. But the living entity, it does not undergo any change. That is the spirit soul. And what is the swabhava? What is the nature? The nature of the living entity is adhyatma. Adhyatma is transcendental. So in this way, Krishna is answering, and Krishna says that how to attain the supreme destination is when one is able to remember him at the time of death. If someone can remember the Supreme Lord at the time of death, it is Antakale. Antakale means that the person is leaving his body. So if he can remember the Supreme Lord, then he can reach the supreme destination. Then for him, he does not have to come back in the cycle of birth and death again. So in this way, Krishna progresses, and then he talks about a path which is filled with practice. And what is the practice? The practice is of Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga, and which is a difficult path. And then Krishna speaks about the easy path. The easy path is the path of devotion. And Krishna also explains about the material world, this material world where we are existing right now, that what is the duration. Very interesting. You will be shocked and surprised. You know what is the duration of this material world? Who remembers? 311 billion, a trillion and 40 billion. That is the tenure. So what is our lifespan? Not even like a flash. Not even like a flash. So that is the day of Brahma. So it looks, that the life of Brahma is very, very outstanding because he lives such a long life. But still, he is also subject to death. So every living entity in all the universal system, in all the universal planetary system, everyone is subject to birth and death. But then he says that if you achieve me, then you can go beyond the cycle of birth and death. I'll give you one example. You see the inmates in a jail, in a normal prison house. In a prison house, all the inmates, they are subject to various terms for which they come, isn't it? But if any inmate, he follows the authority in the jail is the superintendent of jail. He is released. He can be released before his term, right or wrong? Yeah. He can also be released. Sometimes President of India, Prime Minister of India, they visit the jail, the prison house. And when they prison, they award what? Amnesty. Their terms can be reduced. So similarly, if we inculcate devotion, then all our sins and all our tendencies to perform sin is eliminated. And as soon as our sinful tendencies are eliminated, we are immediately uplifted and promoted. So now, after having spoken about the long duration of the material world, Krishna contrasts and gives the knowledge of the spiritual world. About the spiritual world, neither do we have any knowledge, nor do we have any experience. But that does not mean that it does not exist. Most of the time, we have too much of dependence on our own senses. What we have the idea that seeing is believing. But there are many things in life which we do not have vision or sight for. Do we see our minds? Has any scientist been able to see his mind? Has he found any apparatus or instrument to see the mind? So if seeing is believing, then the person does not have mind. Has anyone seen one's intelligence? Huh? And of course, no innovation or invention so far has been able to see the presence of soul. So does it exist or does it not exist? So this argument is not very valid, that seeing is believing. How do we believe? Because the Supreme Lord is speaking. And then not only the Supreme Lord is speaking, his representatives who are coming from the spiritual world, they are also speaking. Like there may be a country, very remote, somewhere in Africa. We have never heard or we have never been. But if that country opens an embassy here in India, then what is the confirmation? that country exists. Right or no? Very simple. That country exists. So if you want to see that country, what you can do? You can visit the embassy. And you'll be surprised. Even if the embassies that are in India, the rules of government of India do not apply on those embassies who are operating here. Which rules applies in those embassies? The rule of their own respective country. Although they are outside their country, they are in India. So if such a thing can happen here and we can believe, so why we cannot believe in the Supreme Lord? So we will be discussing from the verse 20th today. Last time we discussed till 19. So the 20th verse talk about the spiritual world. So Krishna gives very emphatically the confirmation of what the spiritual world is. Is contrasting between spiritual world and the material world. In the last previous shlokas, in the verses from 17 till 19, he explained about the material world, how this material world exists, that by human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together is the duration of Brahma's one day, and also is the duration of his night. And then in the 18th verse, at the beginning of Brahma days, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest nature, and thereafter when the night falls, they are all merged in the unmanifest again. So in this material creation, there is again and again, one is manifest and one is unmanifest. Like right now, what is the stage? Manifest. This is the entry. Before this manifest stage, what we were? Unmanifest. And after this body is over, again we will become unmanifest. So we are only manifest for a short duration of time. We were unmanifest before and we will become unmanifest in the future. But let us see what happens in the spiritual world. This is the 20th verse. Partasmat tu bhavo anyo avyakto vyaktat sanatana. If you read from the English, you see before N there is a apostrophe. And before Y also is there. That is the silent A. Okay. This is a silent A. So it is Partasmat tu bhavo anyo. And avyakto avyaktat sanatana. Yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. Okay. So we'll recite. And you please try to follow. Partasmat tu bhavo anyo. Avyakto vyaktat sanatana. Yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsu na vinashyati. Partasmat tu bhavo anyo. Avyakto vyaktat sanatana. Yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsu na vinashyati. Please recite. Paratasmat. Parastasmat or paratasmat. Parastasmat tu bhavo anyo. Avyakto vyaktat sanatana. Yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsu na vinashyati. What? Recite. Anyone? Paratasmat tu bhavo anyo. Is there no? Avyakto avyaktat sanatana. Try once again. Avyakto avyaktat sanatana. Yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. So Krishna is contrasting, he is saying paratasmat. So this was apara. The material world is apara. Apara means that upward, which is again and again coming into existence and it is getting annihilated. But Beyond this material creation, there is para. Para means which is beyond or which is transcendental. Is bhavo anyo. Bhava means the nature. Anyo means different. Another. And what is that nature? It is avyaktaha. Avyakta means unmanifest. Can you see the spiritual world? No. It is unmanifest. It is avyakta, avyakta, and sanatana. Avyakta is unmanifest and it is avyakta to the unmanifest. But it is sanatana. It is eternal. That means there is never annihilation. It remains ever existing. There is no change. In this material world, there is constant change. But in the spiritual world, there is no change. Yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsu na vinashyati. So talking predominantly about that it is never ever annihilated. It never experiences any destruction or dissolution. Yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and it is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifest matter. So as we discussed, this material nature is sometimes manifest, it is sometimes unmanifest. But the spiritual world is always manifest. It never becomes unmanifest. It is supreme and it is never annihilated. When all of in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. So this is very important information that we receive from Bhagavad Gita, that the spiritual world does not go any dissolution or any destruction. It remains the same eternally. Krishna's superior spiritual energy is transcendental. Transcendental means that is beyond matter. Matter means there is constant change. And transcendental means where there is no change. I'll give you one example. Simple example. If your relatives come and meet you, they meet you say after 10 years. So normally how they meet you? They meet you and they feel very happy. And what they say? That you have changed. In 10 years you have completely changed. And what is your response? What is your response? I am the same. You say I have changed, but I am the same, isn't it? Why? Because the spirit soul has no change. What he is seeing you as? Body, which is constantly changing. But do we believe that we are this body? If we say that this is my body, don't we say this is my body? That means me and my body are different. I don't say I body. Do we say I body? No, we say my body. Yeah. Or we also say my mind. Isn't it? That means mind and the self are different. So we have this information, but what we lack is the realization. What we lack is the practical experience. We don't have the practical experience. So Bhagavad Gita gives us this understanding. So transcendental means which does not go any change, which is not affected by matter. Everything in this world is affected by the energy of time, as I said. But which is spiritual, the impact of time is not there. It is beyond all the changes of material nature, which is manifest and annihilated during the days and nights of Brahma, which we discussed in the 17th verse, that Sahas Yug Paryantam, for 1000 yugas, that is the duration of Brahma's day, and so is the duration of Brahma's night. So during the day of Brahma, there is creation, and during the time of night of Brahma, there is dissolution. But in the spiritual world, there is no such thing as creation or dissolution. It is eternal. Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite in quality to material nature. The material nature experiences what? Constant change. It is manifest and unmanifest. So it is temporary and it is ever changing. But the spiritual nature is eternal and it is never unmanifest. Superior and inferior nature are explained in the 7th chapter. Krishna speaks about this in the 7th chapter also. So in overview, Krishna speaks that the material nature is represented by Huh? By 8 aspects. By the 8 aspects. What are the 8 aspects of material nature? Bhumi, Rapo, Nalo, Vayu, Kham, Manor, Buddhi, Revacha, Ahankar, Iti, Mayam, mein Bhinna, Prakriti, Rashda. You can see 7th chapter and 4th verse. Those who have come new, please help them. Show them 7.4. Those who have come new, please help them to see 7.4. So these are the 8 aspects. What is that? The 5 gross elements of this creation: earth, water, fire, air, ether. So these are the 5 very gross elements. सुना है ना आपको? It is called Panch Mahabhut. So everything is generated from these 5 elements, and ultimately everything gets dissolved in these 5 elements. But beyond these 5 gross elements, there are 3 subtle elements. What are the 3 subtle elements? Mind, intelligence, and false ego, which is subtle. As I said, can we see mind? Can we see intelligence? Also, we have ego, false ego. But these are very subtle. So all these constitute my separated material energies. So these are the material energies. But there is a superior spiritual energy. In the next verse, Krishna speaks about it. That aprayem tastu anyam prakriti vidhi me param. And what is that param? Like we are seeing here in the verse, Krishna is saying about partasmat. So what is the para prakriti? Para prakriti is the living entity, the spirit soul, which is beyond the 5 gross and the 3 subtle. O mighty armed Anuja, there is another superior energy of mind which comprise the living entities which are exploiting the resources of this material, inferior energy. So this is the contrast. So we belong to the superior energy. But where are we trapped? We are trapped in the inferior energy. So you have heard that one time, one lion club, you understand? Sher ka bachcha. He lost his parents and then he was taken care by a sheep and he joined the flock of sheep. So how he behaved? Like a sheep. But is he a sheep? So similarly, because of our wrong identity, we are all thinking we are products of matter, but we are not. The day when the awakening will come, we will realize that we are not sheep, we are under sleep. We are under dreams and illusions. Because we are beyond body and mind. But it requires awakening. It requires certain level of realization of. In ignorance, one cannot do that. In ignorance, it is not possible. In ignorance, we will always identify ourselves with body and not beyond. Okay. Then Krishna gives further information about the spiritual world. He says, look at the verse number 21 in the 8th chapter. Avyakto akshara iti yuktas tamahu paramam gate yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama avyakto aksharo iti yuktas tamahu paramam gate yam prapya na nivartante tadhamam paramam mama. Recite. You recite. Avyakto akshara iti yukta. Yeah. Tamahu paramam gate yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Sunil, you recite. आप recite करिए. Avyakto akshara iti yuktas tamahu paramam gate yam prapya na nivartante Tadhama paramam. So it is avyakto means it is unmanifest. Why it is unmanifest? Because by the material vision one cannot see anything spiritual. Why we are not able to see the soul? Because we do not have the spiritual vision. By any material means, from matter you cannot perceive spirit. So it is avyakto. Avyakto means it is unmanifest or it is invisible. Then it is akshara. Shara means that can be destroyed. And akshara means that can never be destroyed. So the spiritual part, as I said, that there is no beginning and there is no end. It is eternal. So it is avyakto akshara iti uktas. Iti uktas means it is said. Tam ahu paramam gatim. So having achieved this destination, one achieves the highest place, highest perfection. And why? What is the perfection? Yam prapyana nivartante. Nivartante means to come back. Na nivartante means that one does not have to come back. What is that place? That is tam dhama paramamama. That is my place of residence or abode. So that which the Vedantas describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which having attained it one never returns, that is my supreme abode. So we see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is very clearly speaking and establishing the distinction of the spiritual world. It is not an imagination. It is not a fantasy. It is a reality. But to achieve this, what is required? Required is spiritual perfection. Spiritual perfection is required. So Prabhupada describes about the supreme abode. The supreme abode of the personality of Godhead Krishna is described in the Brahma Samhita. So Brahma Samhita is a scripture or it is a treatise which is given by none other than Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma is the first created being in this universe and he has supernatural powers. What is the supernatural power? He is given the chief position to subcreate the entire creation. So after the Supreme Lord, the second most important person is Brahma. Like you see, in the country you have Prime Minister. But after Prime Minister, you have the second most important position as the Finance Minister. Because he has the control of all resources, all money. So Brahmaji is having a very important position. And he is revealing. So Brahmaji is a perfected person. He is spiritually perfected. He has spiritual vision. He has realized the Supreme Lord. So he is revealing in his treatise. He says that the abode of the Supreme Lord is described in the Brahma Samhita as Chintamani Dham, a place where all desires are fulfilled. What a place it would be. You would like to be in a place where all desires are fulfilled. As soon as you desire, they get fulfilled. Like you have got, some lamp. Which lamp? Lamp of Aladdin. You've seen some movies, huh? Aladdin used to have this lamp. He used to rub the lamp and ask for a wish. And the wish was fulfilled. But that is fantasy. But this is the reality. The reality is in the spiritual world, which is Chintamani Dham. Money means the stone. And what kind of stone it is? Chintamani. It is a touchstone. What is the touchstone? That whatever you wish, that touchstone will transform and make it happen. The supreme abode of Lord Krishna is known as Golok Vrindavan. It's full of palaces made of touchstones. So there are also trees called the desire trees. So what are they called? Kalpa Vriksha. Very beautiful. Who remembers the line? What is the Brahma Samhita verse of Kalpa Vriksha? Chintamani prakhar sadmeshu kalpa vriksha laksha vrateshu surbhira vipalayantam So this place is a place where the trees are also so potent. They have so much of potency that if you sit under a tree and you ask for any wish, the trees will fulfill. So they are called the Kalpa Vriksha, desire fulfilling trees. The supply of any types of the supply any type of eatables upon demand. And there are cows known as Surabhi cows. What is the uniqueness of the Surabhi cow? That its milk never ends. As much milk you want, you can milk them. In this world, it is not possible. But in the spiritual world, everything is full and abundant. There is no limit. It supplies limitless supply of milk. In the abode, the Lord is served by hundreds of thousands of goddesses of fortune. Lakshmi Sahasra Seva Samyamana. So there are millions of goddesses of fortunes which are serving the Supreme Lord, Lakshmi. And he is called Govinda. Govindam Adi Purusham. He is the primal Lord and the cause of all things. And what he does in the spiritual world, if he has such a big empire, if he has such a big planet, then he will have a lot of burden. If you see our Prime Minister, he cannot sleep. Why? Because he has so many troubles to resolve. But that is not the case with Krishna. That is not the case with the spiritual world. It is completely different. What he does? The Lord is accustomed to blow his flute. What he does there? He plays his flute. Venu konantam arvindam dalalaya taksham. He is playing his flute. Playing his flute means what? He is relaxed, he is enjoying, and he is giving enjoyment to all the residents. That means everyone is free from all anxiety. Material world is called kuntha. It is called kuntha. Kuntha means there will till that time we will exist in this world. What will be our eternal companion? Not eternal companion. The companion of our body and mind will be kuntha. Kuntha means anxiety. So that anxiety, the degree changes. So it becomes frustration, it becomes depression. But in the spiritual world, it is called Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means that is without any anxiety. How the world is without anxiety? Because they are dancing and singing along with the Supreme Lord on the sound of his flute. So it is Venu Konantam Arvindam Dalalaya Taksham. His transcendental form is most attractive in all the world. He has a very beautiful form, very attractive, most mesmerizing, not just attractive, it is mesmerizing. If you get a glance of Krishna once, then you can never forget his beauty. His beauty is so captivating. His beauty is so appealing. His eyes are like lotus petals. That is why it's called Arvindaksha. Arvindaksha. Arvinda is the petals of the lotus. And Aksha means eyes. So one name of Krishna is Arvindaksha. And the color of his body is like the color of clouds. So what is he called? It's called Ghanshyam. Ghanshyam. Ghana means the cloud. What kind of cloud? There are many kinds of cloud and there are many colors of the cloud. The cloud which is filled with water, it is very dark. It is Shyam. And it is very condensed. So it is called Ghanshyam. So Krishna's color is not black. Krishna's color is like the color of the monsoon cloud which is filled with water. He is so attractive that his beauty excels these thousands of cupids. He wears saffron cloth, a garland around his neck, and a peacock feather in his hair. That is the inexpressible beauty of the Supreme Lord Krishna. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna gives only a small hint of his personal abode Golok. Vrindavan, which is the supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. So as I said, that if you want to confirm that the country exists, what you can do? You can go and visit the embassy and get the first-hand information that where the country is, how you can reach the country. And but to go to the country, what you require? Visa. And who will give you the visa? Embassy will give you the visa. Similarly, for the spiritual world, Vrindavan, we have the Vrindavan replica here, which is just 90 miles from Delhi. If you visit Vrindavan, you will get a first-hand feel that there is Vrindavan. Then there is possibility of having desire to go one day to Vrindavan. That is why we every time go to Vrindavan. Why? To get that genuine desire even once, that I want to be in Vrindavan. And if that desire sprouts from the heart, that is glorious. Then the journey to Vrindavan has already begun. So Krishna is giving a small hint of his personal abode, Golok Vrindavan, which is the supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. A vivid description is given in the Brahma Samhita, Vedic literatures. Katha Upanishad 1.3.11 states that there is nothing superior to the abode of the Supreme Godhead. And that abode is the ultimate destination. Purushan na paramam kinchit sa kashta paramagati. When one attains to it, he never returns to this material world. Krishna's supreme abode and Krishna himself are non-different. How they are non-different? Because both are eternal. Both are eternal. In this material existence, nothing is eternal. Everything is temporary. It is manifest and it will become unmanifest. So being of the same quality. On this earth, Vrindavan 90 miles southeast of Delhi is a replica of that supreme Golok Vrindavan located in the spiritual sky. When Krishna descended on this earth, he sported on this particular tract of land known as Vrindavan, comprising about 84 square miles in the district of Mathura, India. So there is Kurukshetra. On 14th and 15th of June, we are traveling to Kurukshetra. Please come with us. Okay, that is Saturday and Sunday. Come and see the part of the spiritual world. We are taking a small group. Saturday morning we will go. Coming. And Sunday we will return. Only 2 days. Don't miss out. Only 25 seats are there. We have hired one bus, AC bus, because it is hot. And we will go by bus and be in Kurukshetra for 2 days. So these places, if we go, if we visit these places, then gradually what we can develop the vision to be able to see the spiritual world. But then why is it so that we are not able to get the experience of the spiritual world? So Krishna speaks the 22nd verse. What is the time? Oh, it is already 9. So what should I do? If you all agree, should I take this verse this time or should I take it next time? It depends on you. Neither yes is coming. That means the spontaneity to hear is still not there. But then there will be a break. After 1 week, most of it will be gone. Most of our memory will be wiped out. In 1 week, we will go through so many new, experiences and transformation. It will be very difficult to recollect what we were discussing. So I will begin, but I will not explain. Okay, next time I will explain. So Krishna says that who can experience this? Why people are not able to have spiritual experience? So Krishna gives this conclusion here. He says, Purushasa Parapartha Bhaktya Labhyastu Ananyaya Yashyanta Sthani Bhutani Yena Sarvamidam Tatam. Purushasa Parapartha Bhaktya Labhya Tu Ananyaya Yasya Antasthani Bhutani Yena Sarvamidam Tatam. So Krishna is saying that Purushasa Parapartha. Purusha means the Supreme Lord. He is even beyond all the living entities. But who can attain him? Who can reach him? Bhaktya labhyastu ananyaya. By the process of devotion. Only detachment or only duty is not sufficient. If somebody says that I want to meet the Prime Minister, he said I am the best student in my faculty. Is it sufficient to force the Prime Minister to come and see you or give you an invitation? So what is the qualifying factor Krishna is speaking here? Bhaktya labhyas. To achieve that gain or to achieve that merit, what you have to have? Bhaktya. That is devotional service. Devotion to the Lord. And what kind of devotion? Ananyaya. Not ordinary devotion. Ananyaya means which is exclusive. Unalloyed. Normally what we do? We have a bit of devotion, but our devotion is imbued with desires. We want to please the Lord also, and we want the Lord to please us also. So what we are trying to do? We're trying to have some business with you. I please you and you please me. So this is good kind of combination. No, that is not sufficient. Bhaktya labhyastu ananyaya. He says what kind of devotion you should have? Exclusive, unalloyed. What should is the alloy? Alloy is of own desire or own demand. Normally, why do we approach the Lord? Why do people, I stay in the temple, I observe why do people come to the temple? Why do they come for darshan? What is the purpose? To fulfill their desires. What they are not able to have on their own, what they want to do? They want to add the Supreme Lord so that He can help us achieve their desires. So see, that kind of devotion is not sufficient. What kind of devotion is required? Ananyaya. Ananyaya means unalloyed. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although He is present in His abode, He is all pervading. Yasya antasthani bhutani. Antasthani bhutani. Bhutani means all the living entities. And what is the antasthan in our living entity? Is our heart. So the Supreme Lord, although He is in His abode, like the sun. Where is the sun? Millions and millions of miles beyond the planet Earth. But what reaches us? The sun rays. How the sun rays reaches? It's a diffusion from the sun. So similarly, the Supreme Lord diffuses in the heart of each and every individual as super soul, which is called Paramatma. Yasya antasthani bhutani. And yena sarvam idam tatam. And He is all pervading. He is existing everywhere. How? By His expansions, by His energies. One example I gave of sun, like this. Although He is situated within Him, everything is situated within Him. Okay, so I will leave it here and we will discuss it because this is to be understood. That how everything that He has created, He pervades everywhere in His creation. But not everyone is in His abode. So that philosophy we'll discuss next time. So thank you all for coming and patiently hearing. If you have any question, any doubt, please ask. Anything related to what we discussed or anything related to spirituality, please feel free to inquire and ask. Hare Krishna. Those who are online can also ask. If anyone has any question or any doubt, please ask. Clear? Everything is clear? Yes. Sorry? Why Krishna is the only Purush? Why Modi is the only Prime Minister? You should be the Prime Minister. This is the same question, isn't it? Huh? What is the Purusha means who is the enjoyer? Who is the enjoyer? Purusha means one who is the enjoyer. Enjoyer. He is the one who is the ultimate enjoyer. Bhokta Ram Yagata Prasham Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Why he is the only enjoyer? Because he has made his creation, etc. Why Prime Minister is the head of the country? What we have to do? What we have to do? Can we challenge that? Can we change that? What we have to do? Accept. Accept. But he is not like a dictator. He is not like someone who will exploit. What is he? He says, although he is a Bhokta Ram Yagta Prashant, he is Sarvalok Maheshwaram, but he is also Surhidam. He is the ever best well-wishing friend of everyone. In this world, can you find anyone who is ever well-wishing friend? Ever well-wishing friend means even if you abuse him, even if you mistreat him, or even if you stab him, but he will not change. Will you find anyone in this world? The Krishna is, that is his kindness. That is his mercy. That he will ever be our well-wishing friend. This is declaring in Bhagavad Gita 5.29. So who would not like to have someone in command who is always there to look after our best interest, to provide us our best benefit? Okay? Never mind. See, normally we have the envious feeling towards Krishna. That is why we are in this material world. That is true for everyone. If we had loving feelings, then we would be in the spiritual world. Now what are we doing here? Why we are struggling? Why we are suffering? But what we have to transform, this feeling of enviousness has to transform to the feeling of devotion and love. And how it will happen? It will happen both by knowledge and experience. You experience something? The hospital episode? Is it normal? Then how it is coming from? Where is the inspiration coming from? From Krishna. From Krishna. When Krishna is such a loving father and he is the best well-wishing friend for everyone, so his devotees, they also try to serve Krishna. We are not serving an individual. We are serving the Supreme Lord. Because everyone is the creation of Supreme Lord. So what we see the connection of the Supreme Lord with everyone. That is why we preach. Do we get any money out of it? Do we get any facility? We put our facility. But what do we see? What others do not see. What we see common, that Krishna is the common father. Krishna is the common friend. Does anyone outside have that vision? No. So gradually when we see how Krishna cares for us, how much Krishna loves us, and how much Krishna is serving us, then gradually in the heart we will have the desire to love and serve. That is the transformation. That is the journey of spirituality. From being self-centered to becoming Krishna-centered. Very important that we practice, we receive this knowledge. Because as I said, then we can make right decisions. Otherwise, we are blinded. We see ourselves only as a product of matter. And we see ourselves as a representative of our. What kind of decisions we take? We take decisions which will harm us. The Bhagavad Gita gives us this knowledge to go beyond. Okay? Thank you all very much for coming. And Krishna willing, Next Saturday we will continue. So all are in. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. We will continue tomorrow. Srimad Bhagavatam. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Today is also the appearance day of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. He gave us the beautiful book of Chaitanya Bhagavat, where we can see the glories and the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we bow down to Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur and we pray to him that in our heart a ray of